In this video, we're going to look at the best route for renewables installers to start getting more leads into their business, specifically comparing managed marketing where they run their own marketing in-house versus buying leads on a pay-as-you-go basis for an external provider. We'll break down the pros and cons of both and exactly what you should be doing depending on your specific situation right now. Getting into whether you should be doing your own marketing or whether it'll be better for your business to be buying leads on a case-by-case basis. By internal marketing, we mean running Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, either in-house or with an agency. Per lead is when you just purchase leads from lead providers on a per lead basis for a fixed. Both of these have pros and cons, and we as a business actually offer both options to installers. We'll get on to later in this video exactly which option you should choose depending on your business's specific situation. In terms of doing your own lead generation first, or your own marketing across social media, or so that's Facebook, Google, SEO, anything like that, there are obviously some big pros to that. First being brand awareness. Obviously doing your own marketing, you get your brand out there in the areas you're advertising in. Second, and probably one of the biggest one, is you just have complete control over the quality of leads and the volume coming in. So you can increase your spend or decrease it depending on the number of leads you're looking for. You have complete control over what adverts go out, how leads are pre-qualified, all that sort of thing before they come through to you. Then just scalability. If you're looking to be generating 40, 50, 60 surveys a month, that is generally, once you get the ad accounts in a good place, going to be much more cost effective doing it through your own marketing than paying a fixed price to lead providers. Once you do have an ad account that is at a high spend and has been running for a little while, obviously you should have been doing a lot of testing on that ad account. You should have optimized it to a point where you're consistently getting leads and surveys at a really good price. Final thing is just the long-term asset building. So obviously, if you are running your own marketing, then it means everything's done through your assets, under your branding. You own it all from start to finish. So you're not dependent on a lead provider, and you're building that long-term assets that your company can use for the years to come. In terms of the cons, there are some obvious cons to doing your own marketing that puts a lot of installers off working with agencies or even just doing it in-house. First one, and the main one really, being the upfront investment. You can spend hundreds, if not thousands, on adverts or SEO before you actually see a return on that in the form of installs coming in. For a lot of smaller installers, and that upfront investment can be a little bit of a bottleneck to them getting started. Second one is obviously you're fronting a lot of the risk. You're paying an employee or an agency to manage it. You're paying the advertising spend on top. So you're fronting all the capital with no necessary guarantee you're going to be getting installs on the back of that, especially if you've not done any sort of form of marketing previously or chosen an agency previously. It can be a little bit of a learning curve to get that right. So you actually may end up spending even more on the wrong form of marketing or the wrong form of agency before you even actually find the right process for your business. Then the final thing that a lot of people don't take into consideration is volatility. Whenever you do any sort of marketing or advertising, you're going to have good weeks and good months and bad weeks and bad months. Although you might get the ad account to a good place, cost per lead could spike. There could be some wider news in the industry that causes it to spike. Your ad account could get restricted or paused. Anything could come up that can actually affect performance of the ad. It's something that you've got to be constantly managing and keeping on top of that performance, which obviously you don't have to worry about if you're just buying leads at a fixed price. In terms of the other way of doing it, so that's buying leads from providers like Bark or Leads.io. Again, there are some really clear benefits to this route to market. First being the predictability. If you know that you buy leads for £50 per lead and you convert 1 out of 4, you know that your cost per sale is going to be £200. So for a lot of installers, knowing exactly what they're paying, what they're getting, and their conversion rates is a lot easier to manage than the thought of putting a lot of money into marketing that doesn't have that same level of certainty. Second thing is you don't need any form of experience with marketing whatsoever. Obviously, the lead provider takes care of all of the marketing, so you don't need to worry about managing or choosing an agency, hiring a marketing person, managing your own stuff in-house. You simply speak to customers who have already signed up. Third thing is just speed to market. When you do go with a lead provider, they've already got campaigns running, they're already generating leads, so you don't have to go through any sort of learning phase or onboarding phase. You can quite simply sign up and pretty much immediately start getting leads from them. Last couple of things is just with the flexibility. If you are an installer who gets a lot of contract work or a lot of referrals, if you are just buying leads on a per lead basis, you're not committing to anything, you can just buy them as and when you need them. And if you do suddenly get busy with installs through other routes, you're not committed to paying a monthly fee or commit to advertising spend or anything like that. It just means it's a lot more flexible for those installers who can get busy quite quickly. In terms of the cons, a few main ones. First, you're not actually building a brand really. You're not doing any of your own marketing. You're not getting your name out there. Second is you don't really get a say in the quality of the leads. You don't really know what adverts are generating the leads, how they're being pre-qualified. All of your trust is going into the lead provider. So it's important that you vet that lead provider properly before you go ahead and sign up. Third one, and probably the main one with this model, is the dependency risk. So you're relying entirely on another company to produce all of your sales, essentially. If they were to disappear off the face of the earth, go out of business, just stop producing leads in your industry, anything like that, then suddenly all of your pipeline gets wiped out. And then the fourth thing is inflated sales costs. Most lead providers are going to add a premium onto the leads, and that's how they should make their money, for obviously fronting all the risk and the costs of generating that lead in the first place. So if you are going to entirely rely on purchasing leads, you can expect to pay a little bit of a premium per lead or per appointment compared to as if you were doing it in-house and had that process working well. So they're the main pros and cons. As I said, there's not necessarily a right answer. It just depends on what you're looking for. In terms of making a decision between the two, or even deciding to run both at the same time, in terms of picking your own lead generation, so this mainly works better for established brands who have really good selling points and long-term growth ambitions. If you're a company that is a Octopus trusted partner, you've got loads of 5-star reviews, you've been trading a while and you're quite well known, then all of this will help when you do your own marketing. It will drive down lead costs, it will build more trust, and it will make closing leads that sign up through your adverts a lot easier. On the flip side of things, if you are a newer business that doesn't have loads of reviews, doesn't have a nice website, then it can be a little bit easier to start getting leads in just by buying leads for a fixed price from a lead provider. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that if you're an established business, you shouldn't be buying leads, or vice versa. For example, we work with a lot of big businesses that have a big brand that run their own marketing, but also buy leads to supplement what they do. They might get 80% of their leads through their own marketing campaigns, and they simply use lead providers to plug any gaps. For example, they might have a few free survey slots. They go ahead and purchase some leads to fill those slots, or they might be investing a lot of money into their own marketing, but they want to diversify a little bit. So that means that they're aware that performance of their ads can go up and down. They're aware of ad account restrictions, all that sort of stuff. So they buy leads from lead providers just to supplement what they get from their own adverts, just to make sure that if the worst case happens, their pipeline doesn't go completely dry. And the final business that may suit a pay per lead model more than a internal marketing is people who are looking for a low volume of leads. So if you're only looking for a couple of surveys a week or a couple of installs per month, then there's no point really you setting up your own Facebook campaigns. You're better off just purchasing leads from a lead provider at small scale and getting what you need from there. In terms of making a choice, these are the general points that we'd recommend. However, as I mentioned, you don't necessarily have to choose between one or the other. We work with a lot of installers that very successfully run both. They use different models for different reasons. You can have great success running your own Facebook campaign and then supplementing that with leads that you buy on a per lead basis. But that's exactly what we provide to installers. We offer both pay per lead options and also management options of helping installers set up and run their own marketing. The reason we do this is, as I mentioned throughout this video, there's pros to both. It just means that we can help installers whatever situation they're in. So in terms of our marketing management, helping you set up and run your own campaigns, we've worked with over 100 installers now in the renewables industry, and we cover everything from generating a lead through to phone qualification. Everything up until that day of survey is managed by us. You simply focus on quoting leads and installing jobs. Everything else is taken care of by our team. Second option that we offer is pay per survey. That means that we charge you only when you're actually at the property quoting a customer. So there's no monthly fees, no ad spend, no long-term commitments. You literally get a lead that has already been spoken to and qualified by our team. They're interested in the quote. We place that with you on a per lead basis. We work with quite established companies in the industry like Hughes, Smart and Spruce with their network of installers to place these leads, and we generate dozens of leads every day across the UK in the renewables industry. So if you do want the pay per lead option, we can go ahead and offer that as well. Hopefully this video was helpful in terms of going through the benefits of both options and which one may work for your business, if not both. So if you are looking for more leads, whether that's heat pump or solar for your installation business, there'll be a link at the bottom of this video. You can go ahead and make an inquiry there, or jump on a call, run through exactly how our process works, some use cases. We'll help you decide which option will be the best for you, and we can go ahead and help you start getting some more qualified leads into your diary pretty much within a week of signing up with us.